Seriously, what in the Hollywood movie is going on? We look like we are genuinely going to have a UFC event at the White House. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, Tekken, watching films like Bloodsport. The backdrop of having some of the greatest fighters in the world in front of the most famous house in the world is massively appealing to me. What a spectacle this could be. This could be pure theater. You stack this with some of the biggest names in the history of the sport, and you have an unmissable event that could go down in history. If they get this right, this could be incredibly exciting, guys. This is essentially sports, and today we're going to take a deep dive in what could be one of the wildest events in the history of not just combat sports, but all sports in general. It all started with a speech, a Donald Trump speech. I'm not going to do the voice, but he says he wants to have a UFC event on the lawn of the White House to between 20 and 25,000 people. Now, within 24 hours, the UFC confirmed on NBC that this is actually happening. 250 years of the United States of America, and what a way to celebrate it. Everyone's getting excited. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Dana White said, "This will be epic." And White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt backed it up by saying Trump is dead serious. Wow. We've got to zoom out for a second. Dominic Cruz was talking about this just to let it sink in how ridiculous this is, how incredible this is. If this were to happen, what a showcase of just how far mixed martial arts has come as a sport. Remember, the UFC is less than 35 years old. Guys, this sport used to be banned in half the world. It was illegal in 36 states. It was banned from cable TV, fought in parking lots, tribal casinos. It was a subculture. It was not accepted by the mainstream by any means. It was called human cockfighting, a blood sport, and now it is being welcomed, invited into the front lawn of the White House. That is mind-blowing in terms of progress for mixed martial arts. This is an evolution that perhaps no one could have predicted back in the day. And whether you love him or hate him, Trump's mark is indelibly linked to the progress of the UFC down the years. Remember that Donald Trump gave the UFC a home when no one else would. He hosted UFC 30 and UFC 31 at the Taj Mahal when it was looking for a home. This was a time when sponsors, TV networks, let alone politicians, would not touch the UFC with a 10-foot pole. So this is a very personal mission for Trump, and he has a close relationship with Dana White. So a lot of these signs point towards this actually happening, because to be honest with you, when I first heard the news, it did sound a little fanciful to me. Now, if you're gonna do an event like this for America 250 at the White House, you gotta do it properly, you gotta do it right, you gotta pack it with stars. They have the opportunity to do something so epic and so memorable. If this comes to fruition, I cannot overstate how much this is going to be an absolute blockbuster. Conor McGregor has commented saying that he wants to fight Michael Chandler. McGregor was visiting the White House back in March. He is the most famous face in the history of the sport. He took the sport to massive new heights. He has been not without his controversy for sure. He hasn't fought since 2021. But if you're gonna have an event this epic, this big, and have the world watching, just in terms of spectacle, having McGregor on it is a must. And that Chandler fight has been rumbling along for too many years. I feel sorry for Iron Mike. The man has been waiting. He's not getting any younger. He always comes to fight. And I do think it's the perfect matchup for McGregor. It'll be a whole lot of fun. It will be a spectacle. It'll be entertaining. So McGregor versus Chandler, probably as the main event. Or is it gonna be finally Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall? Now, we all know that Jon Jones retired a few weeks ago. Tom Aspinall, rightly, as should have happened ages ago, has been made the unified UFC heavyweight champion of the world. But now that this news has come out, Jon Jones has been piping up. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Jones leading us on a merry dance, and poor Tom Aspinall in the absolute prime of his career being made to wait. Now Bones finally retires, and the news of this potential UFC White House blockbuster showcase comes out. And Jones tweets about maybe might be nice to be the hunter instead of the hunted for once. Just wild behavior for Jones, who's in more legal trouble. I, for one, worry about him if he actually stays retired. I think he needs to be competing for as long as possible just to remain focused and to keep him out of trouble. Now, this all said, if he miraculously is to fight Tom Aspinall, finally the narrative of him coming back out of retirement, being the challenger, coming back for one last, arguably his greatest challenge, wow, this could be the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. And if we're getting fantastical about it, guys, what other fights would you want to see on there? I'm saying pack it. Let's bring some legends back out of retirement. Let's have all the modern stars out there. Let's have Merab Dvalishvili. Let's see what happens between him and Corey Sandhagen. Get Sean O'Malley on the card. Israel Adesanya deserves to be on there. Alex Poitin Pereira, you know, do they write another chapter in their history? Do you do the rematch between Strickland and Adesanya? Does Strickland fight the winner of DDP and Hamzat Chimaev? There's plenty of ways you can cook it. You could have Valentina Shevchenko against Erin Blanchfield. I personally would like to see Ronda Rousey come out of retirement and fight Gina Carano. Let's go old school. Let's go legendary. On America 250, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get real with it. GSP, where are you? Let's bring him out of retirement. Can we coax Khabib for one last dance? The possibilities are endless, but the message is clear. Let's go big with this, guys. All of the spectacle, all of the showmanship, Joe Rogan in there, all the celebrities front row. Let's get Theo Vaughn. Let's get Anthony Kiedis. Let's go big. Let the stars align, let the stars descend. I do have one point on the 20 to 25,000 people though. Just when Donald Trump attends a UFC show, the logistics of having him there, it's a bit of a nightmare. The Secret Service have to go in, they have to check everything the day before. There is so much compliance, health and safety, risk assessment to go on. So if you're gonna bring in 20,000 rowdy UFC fans to the White House lawn, is that realistic? I'm not saying it can't be done, but essentially you are erecting an amphitheater for one night and one night only. It's mad, but that's what makes it so intriguing. So at this point, guys, I need your input. I need your comments. If we're gonna go big with this, if we're gonna do it properly, who do you want to see on the card? Both if we're being realistic, because even realistically, you have to stack it with stars. But even if we're being a little bit dream card about it, absolute blockbuster, fan favorites, legends coming out of retirement. One thing I've got to say though, as a fan of walkouts and face-offs and theater and spectacle, what about the face-offs? Just think about it for a moment. I would almost bring in like a Danny Boyle or a Christopher Nolan as a guest producer, director of this event. I want to see helicopters in the background. I want to see lanterns. I want to see sick, memorable face-offs. And what about the walkouts? Apollo Creed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's celebrate America. Let's make this unbelievably special. Let's utilize the lawn. Let's utilize iconography. Let's make this the most memorable UFC event of all time. No holds barred. If we're gonna make this the most epic UFC card of all time, who needs to be on it? Let us know, guys. Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Please like, share, all of those good things, and we'll see you at the next one.